Hello, my name is Ryan Petering. I'm the Fellowship Director for the Oregon Health and Science University Sports Medicine Fellowship. Here at OHSU, we are really excited that you've agreed to come for an interview, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to get to know you and learn about your goals for your sports medicine career. We really spend a lot of time and energy in putting together our fellowship program. Every aspect of what we do here is thought of with the focus on getting our fellows to get the best education that we possibly can offer. Over the next about 30 minutes, if you can follow through that, I know it's difficult to watch a video for 30 minutes, but I walk you through all of the aspects of our program, from our curriculum to our people to the CME offerings, mass participation events, schools we cover. I don't go into great detail just simply because it's too much time to spend talking to you through this video format, but I wanted you to have an opportunity to think about what we offer, and hopefully you'll hear things that that spark your interest. One of our focuses is on providing customized training for you as you're here in our program. Every fellow who's come through, we assess. Every fellow who come through has different needs and wants, has different career goals and objectives, and our job as your fellowship training program is to help you meet those goals. So, without much else said, here comes the video. Good luck. It's my voice and slides, so bear with it. Take some breaks, have a beer or a beverage of your choice. We really do look forward to meeting you in the interview process, and thank you again for taking the time. This is a view from our Portland aerial tram. This connects the South Waterfront campus at OHSU from our main university campus, which is often referred to as the Hill. Because it's a hill, we have a tram, just like anyone else would. The tram is definitely a great place to catch some good views. The building next to the tram tower down at the bottom of the photograph is our South Waterfront main campus building. We've actually built another one of those buildings. The medical school is off the frame of this photo to the left, but some great views do exist. Mount Hood is off in the background. The Willamette River that divides East and West Portland is under that cloud layer right by the buildings. So let's dive into our program. I'm going to give you a moment to read these. This is our purpose and mission statement. These really capture our main goals for your training. Hopefully these two statements help you see things from the 30,000-foot view of how we approach our training and the program's content while you're here. Let's start diving into the details. On the leadership side, myself, Ryan Petering, and Melissa Novak are the two program directors. Melissa's the associate program director, and I'm the main program director. Christina Capobianco is our coordinator, who most of you have met. My background, I'm trained in family medicine, did my residency here at OHSU, and then was the first fellow in our fellowship program. I've stayed with the faculty at OHSU ever since finishing training. I did my medical school at East Tennessee State University in Northeast Tennessee. My clinical practice is still divided between family medicine and sports medicine. That is the same for Melissa Novak as well. We valued our program having faculty that have maintained their primary training. I think it really adds to a diversity of knowledge and experience. My clinical practice is in the sports medicine world. I do a lot of work with runners. We'll talk some about our University of Oregon program, but I work with the track and field team at the University of Oregon. I work with a lot of running teams at Nike, which is adjacent to my clinical practice in Beaverton. And ultrasound is a cornerstone of my work in the sports medicine field. We do use it in every clinical session with sports medicine, and I probably have the highest ultrasound application in my practice amongst our faculty. Melissa Novak, I'll share a little bit more about her on the next slide. So here is our sports medicine faculty. We'll start at the top left, Melissa Novak. She's a family physician, DO by training, and did her sports fellowship at Utah. She's been with our faculty since 2011 and also does family and sports medicine. She's based out of our Gabriel Park Clinic. She is the Portland State physician with Dr. Brady, who I'll introduce in a moment. She also is heavily involved with AMSSM and will be leading the design and content for the AMSSM 2023 National Conference. Underneath her is Sean Robinson. Sean is a family and sports med physician who trained at OHSU for both his residency and fellowship. He's the team physician for Lewis and Clark College, as well as an avid runner. He maintains a family medicine practice as well as his sports medicine practice. Sean also is heavily involved in the OHSU medical student education system and coordinates our medical student education for the Department of Family Medicine. Ryan Norton is a DO who joined us after residency at Penn State and our fellowship at Penn State. He is family and sports medicine. Ryan has a very diverse clinical practice. He spends part of his clinical time, about half his FTE, in our human performance lab, where he coordinates exercise testing and is one of our lead faculty in the human performance lab. He has a family medicine practice as well as a sports medicine practice. He is an avid ultramarathon runner, just like Sean Robinson. Nick Welter is a graduate of our fellowship program. He did residency here in Portland in a community program and a fellowship with us. His practice is in Scappoose. He works with the George Fox University as a team physician and has a family med and sports med practice based out of the Scappoose Clinic, which is north of Portland. Jim Chestnut is one of the founders of our sports medicine program. He is only doing sports medicine with us now. He has a family medicine training. He's actually divided his clinical time where he works with a private practice ortho group part-time, and that facilitates his role as one of the primary care sports physicians for the Portland Trailblazers. Jim is a national leader in concussion education and research. Jesse Shaw is a family and sports med physician who joined our group most recently. He maintains a family medicine and sports medicine practice. He has a diverse background and training in different sports and team focus with a variety of different subgroups he works with in elite athlete care. He'll be helping with a new residency program that we have started in Hillsborough for family medicine, coordinating their sports medicine curriculum. Rachel Benson is an emergency physician with a sports medicine fellowship she did here with us. She is seeing patients at Gabriel Park and is heavily involved in education of residents and fellows in emergency medicine and sports medicine. Doug McCaig is a founder of AMSSM. He no longer sees patients clinically, but works with the fellows and has teaching sessions with them. It's a real pearl of our program to be able to have one of the most senior sports medicine primary care leaders as part of our team. He has lots of wisdom and loves to share it with the fellows. In the bottom left are our two orthopedic surgeons, Dr. Andrea Herska and Dr. Jackie Brady. Dr. Herska is a fellowship-trained hip specialist. She does diverse sports medicine services, but her real specialty is in arthroscopy of the hip. She is a team physician for a local high school and sees athletes from all over the state and the region for her hip specialty. Dr. Jackie Brady is a general orthopedic sports fellowship trained physician. She's the lead surgeon for the Portland State University with Melissa Novak. She has a diverse interest and is heavily involved in the education of our residents in orthopedics, as well as the fellow. Dr. Ty Duffield is a neuropsychologist who we have hired and is part of our sports medicine team at Gabriel Park. He is focused in sports concussion. He has a diversity of other clinical interests, including neuropsychological assessments for primary care patients with insomnia, ADD, ADHD, and a variety of other classic neuropsychological presentations. However, his main clinical focus is sports concussions, and it's a real asset to our team to be able to have him down the hallway to get consults and answer questions when they arise. Ryan Rockwood is an athletic trainer who works out of the Gabriel Park Clinic, coordinates care, and sees concussion patients, and is part of our concussion treatment clinic we run. He's been with OHSU for 13 years. Dr. Kerry Keel is the last of our faculty. He is a internal medicine trained physician who runs and started the Human Performance Lab. He works with Dr. Norton as co-medical directors for Portland Fire. And has a diversity of different grants and research projects that often includes the fellows on. Switching gears, we'll talk about our sister program. This is technically not affiliated with us, but we affiliate in partnerships across the fellowship year. Kevin DeWeber is the Sports Medicine Fellowship Director for the Peace Health Fellowship. That is in Vancouver, Washington, which, if you're not familiar with Portland and the region, Vancouver is in a different state, but it's only about 30 minutes away from our main clinical site. He started the fellowship. Dr. Brian Lowell was the first fellow. He's joined as faculty and still works in the program. Kevin leads didactics once a month. We are involved and share many different curriculum projects. Our fellows do their didactics together. So we have 3 fellows, 1 fellow from Peace Health, and the 2 OHSU fellows who are in those didactic sessions. But from mass participation events to ultrasound teaching courses, which we'll talk about, Kevin is a close partner of our program and is a great asset for the fellows to have kind of an adjunct fellowship director with lots of experience from his years running the Military Sports Medicine Fellowship. We'll talk a lot throughout the next couple minutes about our Oregon project. We started a fellowship program with the University of Oregon, one of the few programs in the country to have a second-year fellowship offering. This is a separately recruited position. It's not filled through the ACGME system. Rachel Erickson is our first fellow to ever be at the University of Oregon campus. If you're not familiar with the region, the University of Oregon is about an hour and 45 minutes from Portland. The University of Oregon is our main namesake state college. However, they don't have a clinical education system as OHSU, the main educational system for the state of Oregon in healthcare, is based out of Portland. So there are no residencies, there are no fellowships. All of the medical care is provided by Dr. Craig Davidson, who you see here, and community orthopedists and specialists. Dr. Aaron Vaughn is faculty who has joined the program and has a wealth of experience. He was a fellowship director for the MAHEC Asheville, North Carolina program until moving to Oregon to take a role as team physician for the University of Oregon. And Dr. Craig Davidson is the Senior Director of Athletic Medicine at the University of Oregon. This team of these 2 physicians, I go down to the University of Oregon and consult and provide athletic care and help teach the fellow. The fellow is involved with educational projects at our OHSU campus, and there's lots of great opportunities. Here's an example. This is the new Hayward Field, which is one of the, if not the best, track and field facility in the entire world that's based out of Eugene, which is a running mecca. These are our 2 fellows on the right, Cam and Derek, that were at the OHSU sponsored, supported, I should say, NCAA track and field championships that were held in June of this year. The facility is amazing. There's an office in the basement of this stadium, which is where myself and the fellows have clinic on a regular basis. We have many different partnerships with the University of Oregon, and our current fellows, the position you are interviewing for, we anticipate multiple times throughout the year having our fellows go to Eugene and either cover large events like this, Culminating in your academic year in July, when your year will be finishing, will be the the World Outdoor Championships, which are being hosted in Eugene, and our fellows and faculty will be part of the medical coverage for that event. Let's talk about OHSU for a moment. OHSU Health is a large healthcare system that spans the Portland area and is the main healthcare provider for the state of Oregon for health education. Our family medicine program is often ranked #1 in U.S. News and World Reports for overall family medicine departments. This is our main campus on the upper right. I mentioned to you the south waterfront, that's in the bottom left side of the image. And our Gabriel Park campus is the bottom right building. That's the main hub of the fellowship. Our residency, which our fellowship is affiliated under, is led by Joe Scaraya. We are a 4-year family medicine residency that really aims to change the landscape of training for family medicine physicians. We have a large progressive program with 12 residents per year for a total of 48 residents. And our residents really cover the spectrum of different opportunities that exist for family physicians. Here's a map of the central and west sides of Portland. The main OHSU campus is here. That's where the south waterfront campus is. Our southwest region is where Gabriel Park is, the main hub of the fellowship. We have a clinic at Beaverton, which is where the Nike campus is, and several of our providers practice. Scappoose is north of Portland, north of Forest Park. We have a clinic in Richmond, where some clinical services are provided that the fellows take part in. These are our main clinical sites for the residency or fellowship program. Our colleges, Portland State is located downtown, near the main hub of downtown. And Lewis and Clark College is located in southwest Portland, just south of Gabriel Park. So that gives you an idea of the commute, with a majority of the work that most fellows do being in this region of the city. Here's our list of graduates. Our fellowship starts August 1st. We do not start July 1st. That's a nice transition to give you a gap for moving and getting settled. We have 2 fellowship spots, now a third with the University of Oregon Fellow. You see from these trainings, the EM is emergency medicine, IM internal medicine. We've trained family physicians, pediatricians, internists, and a one med peds provider. We also have emergency medicine physicians as close partners through our work at the university and the training program in emergency medicine. We've been privileged to train a diversity of people. You see down at the bottom, most of our providers maintain their primary specialty. Most are functioning as a team doctor in some regard. About 25% have stayed in academic medicine, and several work with professional team sports. All right, let's talk a little bit about our daily schedule. So we structure our schedule in a block format. The first 3 months of the fellowship, due to the rapid processes that occur in the fall with coverage in high schools and training rooms and getting oriented as a fellow, we leave the fellowship schedule the same for the first 3 months. Then the second 2 months in November and December, we alter the schedule, and you have a set schedule for those 2 months. And then starting in January, the schedule changes pretty much every month. However, there are consistent themes. Right now, the consistent themes are the Tuesday morning and Friday morning precepted sports clinics. So these are clinics where you as the fellow are the lead doctor seeing patients. You're given referrals that come into our sports medicine system, and you're precepted just like a primary care model where you're seeing the patients and you have a preceptor available if needed or when needed. The FMC is the primary family medicine clinic day where you'll be also precepted. So a pretty unique offering of our program is we've carved out 3 sessions out of the 10 available sessions in a week where you are the lead doctor providing consultative or primary care services with fellowship trained faculty backing you up. The other days we rotate different faculty. As you can see here, this is a real schedule for Doctors Prill and Mitchell, our current fellows. They're with our orthopedic surgeon or with Dr. Novak as a not shadowing, but working off the schedule of those attendings. We have them with me on Friday afternoons, which is kind of a procedure clinic. Dr. Chestnut, Dr. Herska. High school training rooms or training room time, you see there's different areas. The college training rooms occur at different times throughout the week. And then we have some training rooms and high school sessions. These are evolving as our high school environments are seemingly ever changing in the Portland area. We have some admin time to catch up and to get to training rooms, which start at 3 or 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoons. So this is an idea of our schedule, which we try to build at the beginning of the year and have it built throughout the entire fellowship. This is an example of our didactic schedule. So also mostly thought out by the time the fellowship year starts. Dr. Melissa Novak coordinates our fellowship curriculum. We have a diversity of themes. We lay this schedule out and use a smart sheet format, which is really nice because this is what you'll get as a document. All of the reading documents are connected. This is a live document that can be updated and shared. You see different buckets of categories, the location, where they are. The different color codings represent different topic themes. So our ultrasound curriculum, anatomy curriculum, this was during orientation, so we had some basic musculoskeletal topics. Human Performance Lab is HPL. And you see Cadaver Lab listed. Our typical fellows end up with about 10 days or sessions in our Cadaver Lab at OHSU. We have a variety of themes, as I've mentioned a couple of them: musculoskeletal care, sports medicine, medical care, ultrasound, we'll talk about more in a moment, anatomy, lifestyle medicine, and then workshops. These are kind of the main components of our curriculum. Speaking of ultrasound, it's always a buzz phrase in our training program, and everyone wants to learn more about how we do it. We really feel comfortable to tell you that we have probably as thorough and robust of a training program as you could possibly be offered. We host one of AMSSM's regional ultrasound courses. In our curriculum, as I mentioned, as an example, we have dedicated time throughout the fellowship, usually once a week, where we're covering ultrasound topics in a didactic session. We use the AMSSM videos, Dr. Jacobson's book, and content I've created for the GUSI Global Ultrasound Institute, which, if you've never heard of, is a great reference and resource for general point-of-care ultrasounding, including MSK work. We throw the fellows right to it with ultrasound. You'll be doing ultrasound-guided SI joint, hip, knee, ankle, you name it, injections, as well as diagnostic ultrasounds in the first weeks of fellowship. The faculty are doing more hand-holding with you as you're learning the curriculum and content, but we don't spare you. We throw you right to it. One of my other focuses with ultrasound curriculum is a strong emphasis on diagnostic ultrasounding. I consider it a failure if you just leave here as a good ultrasound injection provider, and we really want you to use ultrasound as a strong diagnostic tool in addition to ultrasound-guided procedures. Here's an example of our curriculum for the fellowship, or for the AMSSM ultrasound course. As you see on here, we have Dr. V and Dr. Rudy and Vallette were our fellows a couple years ago, so we had them listed as faculty, and they were teachers and educators during our course, which gives you an idea of how comfortable we feel that by 3 months into your fellowship, you will have adequate skills to be a faculty member in an AMSSM regional ultrasound course. Moving over to another topic, AMSSM and national involvement. Dr. Novak and I have a strong desire to recruit and train people that want to be involved in improving the national footprint of sports medicine. The main way to do this through our group is through AMSSM. There's, of course, other ways, but we like fellows to be involved in AMSSM. We encourage service on committees and memberships. We have different projects throughout the year that both Dr. Novak and I are working on, as well as other faculty that we include the fellows. This photo brings to light the severe competition that develops between our fellows, where Dr. Suchi was asked with Dr. Welter here to really go get them at the AMSSM course a few years ago, and they seem to have a competition of who could get on the most committees during their time there. So I think Jim may have exaggerated a little bit, but he won for this year. So we encourage and support growth of involvement in AMSSM, and most of our faculty have done that in their careers, and we encourage you and will hopefully train you in ways you can do that as well. For other CME conferences, these are always variable and fluctuating, so until you arrive for the fellowship, I can't guarantee anything. With COVID and other changes we can't predict. Historically, we've sent fellows to AMSSM. We've also offered to pay for fellows to go to ACSM as long as you get something published or accepted to be presented at AMSSM, which isn't terribly hard. We've also gone for, until the last 2 years, which COVID canceled it, to the Ironman Sports Medicine Conference and the Ironman World Championships. It's an amazingly rich experience that happens to be in Hawaii, which isn't terrible. But the Ironman Conference is more focused towards endurance athletes, is a really high-yield sports medicine CME conference. And then we work in the medical tent of the Ironman World Championships. It's easily probably the most robust and well-run finish line medical tent you can ever possibly work in. You see down on the bottom, there's a few other conferences in town and in the region that we'll often send the fellows to. All of these are paid for as part of your fellowship if they occur or if we're involved with them. So yes, that translates into, as long as COVID doesn't affect it, our fellows go to Hawaii for a CME course to work at a world championship. That's pretty cool. Our colleges, Portland State and Lewis and Clark. Portland State is D1, Lewis and Clark is D3. They have roughly the same number of athletes, and as a fellow, you spend all of your time at the same college. You may cross cover a little bit or do some physicals with one or the other colleges, but fellow A will be at PSU and fellow B will be at Lewis and Clark for the year. We just work with the fellows when you join and match to our program to decide which is the best fit for you based on personality and style. We have multiple high schools, mostly in the Beaverton School District. Some of them are areas where we have high school training rooms as well as high school sideline coverage. For mass participation events, we host as a sponsor, but also as the medical provider, the Portland Marathon. This is from this year, this photograph. In addition, we cover the state wrestling tournament, which is usually about 1,000 athletes that come for a 3-day wrestling tournament. We have the Shamrock Run. I mentioned the Ironman Conference. That's a mass participation event we take part in, as well as the ones out of Eugene, the championships, the track and field champs, and other events we'll have you go to throughout the year. On our campus, we have a lot of teaching opportunities, and we try to get you involved in as many of these as possible. Some of the pearls, in addition to what you might expect for medical student teaching, fellowship, and resident teaching sessions. I mentioned the cadaver lab. That's the photo in the bottom right. That is a state-of-the-art facility that was just opened about 6 years ago. It's got great ventilation, large banks of windows looking out over the trees of the park forested area next to OHSU. And we do, as I mentioned, about 10 days per year where the fellows get time in the cadaver lab to practice ultrasound injections. The bottom left photo is March Wellness, which is our gym affiliated with OHSU. You see the tram outside of the window. Our fellows have an arrangement through that institution where you give talks for the members of the gym. Usually 5 to 10 people, maybe 10 to 15 will come. And they're about health-related and wellness-related topics. And in exchange for those talks, which give you experience giving presentations publicly, which we think is valuable, You also get a free gym membership, which is also pretty cool. A couple of words about our performance lab. This is a super cool opportunity where we send the fellows up to do assessments and work with Dr. Keel and Dr. Norton. These are for baseline wellness physicals for firefighters and other active athletic job employed individuals. We also do medical assessments for athletes or people who are participating in sports for performance or working up of medical problems when people have exertional dyspnea, etc. There's a lot of clinical applications, and we try to spend as much time in the lab as we can. You will be able to graduate the year with the 50 treadmill tests, which is a requirement to supervise those tests in the future. Other partnerships we have, one is the Mount Hood Ski Clinic. This is about an hour and 30 minutes from Portland. It's a partnership with Mike Murray, who's photoed here, who's the director of the clinic. It's a level 3 emergency room. There's x-ray, there's labs and medications, and a full service medical clinic. It's a busy place. We don't require it, but if fellows want to go, you can go up, and if you spend a Saturday at the ski clinic, you'll see a wealth of dislocations, fractures, and acute injury management. Most of our fellows will go for at least a couple sessions in the winter and spring. These last couple of slides capture the stuff that's hard for you to see if you're not here, but I know Portland's had a bit of a bad rap over the last couple of years. I can assure you that all of the clinical environments that you'll work in are perfectly safe. The riots and all the chaos that's happened in Portland was confined to a very small area. But Portland is part of Oregon, which is a beautiful state. There's tons of recreation. The city of Portland has amazing restaurants, lots of great cultural activities. We have many resources all available within our backyard or close to. These are all various pictures of fellows and graduates of our program out enjoying mountain biking, skiing, hiking. Our favorite part of our program is by all means our people. Our fellows are part of our team. We have a small but really well connected team of individuals for you to work with while you're here. Our fellows really get to be part of our group, and even though you graduate and move on, we've stayed connected with almost all of our fellows and try to keep you as part of our family. So in summary, we hope you've learned a little bit about our program. I'm terribly sorry you've had to listen to me talk for the last 30 minutes or so. Please let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to review those with you during the interview. We look forward for the chance to meet you and really appreciate you taking the time to review this. Have a good day.